Hey guys, welcome back to Coin Knowledge. So we're going to be taking a look at exactly what is happening, what is one of the factors causing Bitcoin, in my opinion. Again, one of the factors of many here that is causing it to drop drastically here today on the 24 hours. What does this mean? Is this the time to sell everything? Obviously, that's a question that gets brought up almost daily now in the space. But I'm gonna give you guys my opinion and where I'm looking at specifically as far as narratives, as far as maybe individual some projects in those leading narratives that we have high conviction on this channel. So as always, if you guys get value out of the content here, if you guys could subscribe to the channel and like the video, your support means a lot. So we take a look at Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin, did just take a nosedive here on the 24 hours here from over 90K all the way down. It got down to about 86K here earlier today, but you know, we look across the 7 days, Bitcoin was actually doing quite all right, kind of closing in back to those 100K levels. And then what did we see? Now, this is not the only catalyst, only factor affecting Bitcoin's price action in the last, short term here recently, but we have seen, news of Trump's tariffs, affect the markets in the past when they first initially got announced, officially once he was in office earlier this year. We did see a dip there, and now we see with his tariffs on Mexico, Canada will sweep across the U.S. state by state. This is just an article, just reading that off, but Trump did say that the planned tariffs on Canada and Mexico will go forward next week. So, having this news, again, we've seen it affect the markets in the past as well. So we still do have, the first pro crypto president, the first pro crypto administration. Again, they have many promises that they have made that are yet to be kept, like stuff like the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, for the U.S., stuff like that, which I do think is coming. Again, all that is bullish as well. But when we do have stuff like this, again, it is going to affect the market. Now, again, there is a couple other catalysts as well, but this is one that just did go confirmed just that went recently here saying that they're going to be going forward next week. Obviously, that is going to have a negative price action here as well. But when we look at where Bitcoin was pre-election here, obviously Bitcoin shot up after the election, after Trump did win here as well. So when we look at those pre-election levels, we're looking at about 76K right here, and then it shot up. Obviously, everyone knows what happened there from 76K to 90K, 100K, got all the way up to 109K here. So, there is a chance, there is a small gap here, where it could go from these regions of 86K back down to sub 80K. Now, in my opinion, that is a slim chance, but that is completely on the table. I've told you guys ever since this move here that to expect that whether it was months, if not, weeks, obviously it is ending up being months potentially, but, I was letting you guys know, we'll go back and watch those videos that, I was letting you guys know that that was a pretty aggressive move here, that, a cool off coming back to these pre-election levels was totally in the cards that could happen. Now, obviously, we're getting closer to that level than we were, even about a week ago now at this point. So, again, I wouldn't be ruling out Bitcoin getting back under 80K. Now, do I think that is, you know, 100% going to happen here in the next couple days, couple weeks, months? Nobody knows for certain, but in my opinion, it would not surprise me if we did get back to those pre-election levels as well, because Bitcoin is kind of due to get back to those levels. Now, when we look at the altcoin market, altcoins essentially have round tripped back to the pre-election levels, so there's no surprise there. Now we look at something like Ethereum. Again, this is the thesis here is going to be like we've talked about in a lot of different videos. So primarily, I just want to give you guys an update on what are the catalysts affecting Bitcoin potentially. When we look at stuff like Ethereum here, Ethereum still has yet to break its previous all-time highs from the last cycle of about 4,900. But when we look in December, it was over 4K here. So obviously December, that was before we saw a bunch of negative effects and negative catalysts that we've covered already so many times that everyone's aware of at this point in 2025, resulting in the market conditions that we're in right now. So pre 2025, when we saw the markets flip completely bullish as we just looked at Bitcoin, after the election. You know, we saw, Ethereum get over 4K. Now, in my opinion, I do think Ethereum breaking previous all-time highs, making a new one this cycle, could potentially be a crucial, catalyst that we have to pay attention to as far as the altcoin market goes. So that's something that you should take a look at. Now, we look at some other altcoins here. Where am I looking? Well, obviously, Solana is getting hammered. It has not been a great start for the year. I should say, a great couple of weeks. Obviously, Solana did quite well, breaking, those 260 levels with the launch of Trump coin on Solana as well. And then it has not had a lot of good launches here recently with stuff like Libra, a couple, unfortunate pump fund launches as well. So a lot of negative things are going on for Solana. But as far as Solana goes in its ecosystem, I still remain bullish on it. Price action alone is something that isn't something that's going to turn me off to the Solana ecosystem. I still think Solana is going to perform, and I still think Solana is going to make new all-time highs this cycle. So call me crazy or not, due to recent price action, but when we zoom out and look at everything that Solana has going for it, as far as an ecosystem, I still think Solana is going to make, even a brand new all-time high this cycle still. Now, Avalanche, we've been talking about Avalanche for literally years now at this point, guys. I think Avalanche under 10 billion here is getting crazy undervalued. Obviously, we saw Avalanche get back, closer to those $50 ranges here in December, as well as we looked at stuff like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, everything right here kind of locally peaked when we look at the market here recently. But I think Avalanche is another one of those that will, again, break all-time highs. Not to sound like a broken record here, but they have just so much going for them. And again, I'm not going to get into individually behind all these different projects in this video because we've talked about them many times extensively, especially stuff like the Solana and Avalanche ecosystem on this channel before. So if you want to learn more about those individual ecosystems, you can find plenty of videos on this channel if that's something you're interested into. But as always, not financial advice, do your own research. Now, those are the big, high caps there as well. And a couple of these are also high caps, but as far as individual narratives here, again, we're going to kind of zip through these, but AI, I would definitely be looking at the AI narrative. Now, one that I really like, if you're looking for a high cap, kind of a leader in the space, is Potensor Tau. We made a video on Potensor Tau. We've talked about them many times. We made a video here recently covering, their huge update and upgrade to their ecosystem. So Tau, same thing. In December, it was over $700. I think if you're looking for a high cap in the AI sector and you don't want to get into the nitty gritty of the mid to low caps, I think Tau is a great option. Now, yes, could all these projects still go down another 10, 20, 30, 40% from here over the next couple months? It is completely on the table, but could the market flip bullish in that time, sometime in 2025, in the next couple months as well? That is also on the table. So no matter what happens, I can't tell you guys for sure. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just giving you guys my conviction level on certain key projects and narratives here as well, which is why I'm not going into the low caps here in this video, in my opinion. Now, yes, low caps have a place. Now, I've told you guys every time with low caps, don't put in a whole lot of your portfolio into low caps. That is my opinion. Again, not financial advice. And there is going to be a time we can go a little bit heavier into low caps. But for right now, I think high caps, mid caps, that's where you really should be looking at. Yes, you can still take positions in low caps, but just realize that I don't think we're quite there yet, obviously, as far as the money rotation to get down to low caps. But obviously, a lot of them are getting insanely cheap. So you do what you're going to do. So either way, for AI, I'm looking at BitTensor and just, again, AI is a narrative as well. Gaming, I get the comments, guys. I read them, especially the views on the gaming videos. Everyone is writing gaming off. But when we look at, narratives and sectors here, gaming, funding is still coming through the door. Gaming projects are still shipping plenty of product. People are still playing the games. There's still engagement there. And we look at, gaming projects, in my opinion, I think sentiment recently, especially, is really shifting. Once we've seen AI agents cool off, memes definitely cool off here recently. Memes are, leaving a sour taste in everyone's mouths as well, which is why it's not something that we generally cover on the channel. But I think the sentiment is slowly shifting to gaming in the short term as well. So, in my opinion, gaming is still going to be a hot narrative, and it's going to really leave a lot of people sidelined in 2025. Now, we've been saying this for quite a while here, and whereas, again, just like earlier, if that plays out or not, I can't tell you for sure. My conviction level is that we will see gaming run in 2025, and that's the bet I'm willing to make. Now, we look at gaming here. Yes, you could look at stuff like Immutable X, Ronin, stuff that are a little higher in market cap, but I would be looking at Beam. One, again, I'm bullish on the Avalanche ecosystem. Beam kind of plays off that. Beam also has a lot of funding, a lot of money behind them, a huge ecosystem tapping into a couple different things. And when we look at where Beam was at in December, now I reference December a lot here for all these projects. Now, don't take it as, all projects are going to go back to their December highs and surpass them. Some projects obviously will not. Obviously, if you want to know my stance on some of those projects, comment some of yours in the comment section down below. I'll try to do my best to answer everyone's comments. But, Beam was around 4 cents here, $2 billion market cap. And now we're under a cent and at a $400 million market cap. So for gaming exposure, and, gaming to me, I think is going to be explosive, but that is just my opinion. If you don't think so as much, then maybe look at something like an Immutable X or a Ronin, something a little bit higher. But for me, Beam is right in that middle, where I think the risk is definitely worth the potential reward on something like Beam, because out of those three, I did not think Beam would get to these levels again, since it did launch initially around these levels, like a $350 million market cap, so quite insane to see there. So we have AI in gaming, and then obviously RWA, a narrative that we've covered for so long now at this point. I think RWA is going to be alongside gaming, but maybe not as obvious. Obviously, in my opinion, I think RWA will also leave people sidelined, because I think a lot of people are rooting it out because, one, it's boring. Maybe people just don't understand it. But when you look at institutions, they are all about RWA tokenization as well. Now, there's two leaders in the RWA space, in my opinion. One, there's Mantra Ohm, which has just been killing it this year, so I don't want to highlight it too much, as that chart is, that could cool off a bit, in my opinion. But when we look at something like Ondo here, they have ties with BlackRock, obviously, one of the biggest companies in the world. So we look at Ondo here. Literally, it was at $2 back in December. Now, this is another one that I do think we will see, break the December highs. Right now, it's at a $3 billion market cap. So, yes, is it a high cap? Obviously. But, again, in the state of the current market conditions, I think now's the time you should be looking at potentially high caps, maybe some mid caps. If you're going to get into low caps, just realize the risk there. Obviously, we cover them in the channel all the time, especially here recently. But I've been telling you guys that, I'm not saying to buy any of those. Just be aware of them, or just realize the volatility and the risk that's involved with low caps at this current state as well. So we look at RWA. If you just want some RWA exposure, and again, you don't want to get into the low caps right now at this stage, I think Ondo is going to be a great option for RWA exposure as well. Or if you just don't understand the narrative, or if you want one to watch to understand when it maybe does start to kick off as an RWA run, I'd be looking at Ondo. So that's just a quick update video for you guys. As we see Bitcoin here, again, reacting terribly to the tariff news. Not really surprising. Again, there's a few other catalysts as well, but that's one of the main ones that I think is affecting it right now over the last 24 hours. Now, where could it go? I do think that Bitcoin could potentially short-term recover from this, but again, if you want to go worst case scenario, it is on the table, as we've been saying for months now at this point, for it to return to pre-election levels, which would be 76, roughly high 70s levels. So don't rule that out. Hopefully, I don't think that that's as likely as it to do a short-term recovery here, but that is definitely, within the cards. And again, we've been saying that for months now. So just be aware of that. Obviously, I think Ethereum, the fact that it was over 4,000 literally about 60 days ago now, I think hopefully we do see Ethereum break all-time highs. I think we will, but I do think that is something that a lot of people are paying attention to, and you should be as well. Solana, Avalanche, if you look at undervalued ecosystems, again, Solana is getting hammered for multiple different things that we've covered recently. Avalanche, I'm just extremely bullish on. And we look at narratives, and we're looking at AI, gaming, and RWA, which, again, guys, if you guys have been around the channel, you know me, that hasn't changed this whole cycle. I mean, for years now at this point, those are the three we've been looking at. So just because of price action, just because of different things happening in each narrative, that has not changed my conviction level. Obviously, we didn't really play the meme coin super cycle that much, and whereas there was a lot of money to be made, and I do think memes will always have a place in crypto. Again, in my opinion, I would rather stick to the utility of either gaming, AI, and RWA, in my opinion. But that's what's going on here recently. Again, that is just want to get on here and talk about the fact that Bitcoin, is scaring and shaking out a lot of people, and I don't think this is the time to sell your positions if you're down heavily. I do think we see, a huge run up again, maybe a relief rally here in a little bit, maybe Q2, But we either see an altcoin season, again, either first half of 2025, last half. Nobody knows for sure, but I do think the likelihood of us seeing an altcoin season is higher than us not seeing one. That is my opinion. As always, not financial advice. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think? Is there any topics or any touching points or talking points you guys want to mention in the comments below? Or if you want my opinion on any other product or projects here in the space or coin that you think, will it go back to all-time highs? Will it not? Comment them below and I'll give you guys my opinion there. And as always, thank you for taking the time to watch the video. Hopefully you found it valuable. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you guys could, like the video, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right. See you guys.